Let me start with a simple question. How long are you going to live the same year? Over and over again? Same habits, same excuses, same results. If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. Most people don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they repeat the same patterns. They wake up tired. They rush through the day. They promise tomorrow will be different. And tomorrow looks just like today. That's the cycle. The most dangerous prison is the one you can't see. It's built with habits, strengthened by excuses, protected by comfort. We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Regret is what keeps the cycle alive. Discipline is what breaks it. Why most people stay stuck? People say they want change, but what they really want is change without discomfort. Life doesn't work that way. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. And change begins the moment you decide. You've had enough. Enough of excuses. Enough of blaming. Enough of settling. Every breakthrough begins with a decision. Not a wish. Not a hope. A decision. When you know what you want and want it bad enough, you'll find a way to get it. Breaking the cycle starts right here. With awareness, you must see the pattern before you can stop it. This is your wake-up call. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. That's not punishment. That's law. Success is predictable. It's not luck, and it's not magic. It's hard work and discipline. Today, we talk about breaking the cycle, breaking mental cycles, breaking emotional cycles, breaking behavioral cycles, and more importantly, starting a new one. A cycle of growth, a cycle of discipline, a cycle of becoming more. Stay with me, because once you understand how cycles are formed, you'll finally understand how to destroy the ones holding you back. And when you break the cycle, everything changes. Before you can change your life, you must first understand it. And most lives are not controlled by luck. They are controlled by cycles. You don't drift into success. You drift into failure. Drift is a cycle. And if you don't take control, it will quietly decide your future. What is a cycle? A cycle is simply a repeated pattern, a thought you think every day, a habit you repeat without question, a behavior you no longer notice. Over time, these patterns become automatic. And what becomes automatic becomes powerful. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. And failure? Failure is the same thing, just different disciplines. Why most people don't see the cycle? The cycle is invisible because it feels normal. People say, this is just how I am. This is how life works. This is my situation. But let me tell you something important. Accepting things the way they are is the first step towards staying stuck. The cycle doesn't shout. It whispers. It says, skip today. Rest instead of improve. You'll start tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And suddenly, 10 years are gone. The cycle always has 3 parts. Every cycle has 3 elements: thought, action, result. You think a certain way. You act in alignment with that thinking. You get predictable results. Your philosophy determines whether you go for the disciplines or continue the errors. Change the thinking. The action changes. Change the action. The result changes. But if you change nothing, the cycle repeats. Comfort is dangerous. We all need lots of powerful long-range goals to help us pass the short-range obstacles. Comfort removes urgency. It tells you, this is good enough. Don't rock the boat. Stay where it's safe. Comfort slowly replaces ambition, and ambition delayed becomes ambition denied. The cycle loves comfort because comfort keeps you still. Every cycle is protected by excuses. I don't have time. I don't have money. I'm not ready yet. Don't say, if I could, I would. Say, if I can't, I must. Excuses are not explanations. They are permission slips to stay the same. As long as excuses sound reasonable, the cycle stays unchallenged. You don't live alone. Your environment shapes you. The people you listen to, the media you consume, the conversations you tolerate. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your environment rewards laziness, discourages growth, and mocks discipline, the cycle tightens. Growth requires a new environment or a new way of thinking within the same one. You cannot break a cycle you don't recognize. To solve any problem, you must first understand it. Awareness is uncomfortable. It forces honesty. It removes excuses. But awareness is powerful. The moment you say, this pattern is not working, this habit is costing me, this thinking is limiting me, the cycle begins to weaken. The cycle is not your identity. Let me make this clear. Your past does not define you. Your habits are not who you are. Your current results are not your destiny. You can change. You are not stuck. You are simply undisciplined, and discipline can be learned. The cycle is learned, and what is learned can be unlearned. So here's the question you must ask yourself. What cycle is controlling my life right now? The cycle of delay? The cycle of comfort? The cycle of excuses? The cycle of inconsistency? Because until you identify it, you'll keep repeating it. The day you accept total responsibility for yourself is the day you break free. Next, we'll talk about the root of every cycle. Habits. Because when you change your habits, you don't just change your days, you change your destiny. If cycles control your life, then habits are the engine that keeps them running. You don't wake up one day and suddenly fail. Failure is practiced. And success is practiced too. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Habits are not dramatic. They are quiet. They work in the background of your life. And that's why they're so powerful. What is a habit, really? A habit is something you do without thinking. How you start your day, how you respond to stress, how you treat time, how you speak to yourself. Over time, habits move from choice to routine to identity. We are all creatures of habit. The question is whether our habits serve us or sabotage us. Habits remove effort. Once something becomes habitual, you no longer question it. You simply repeat it. And repetition creates results. Whatever you practice, you get good at. If you practice procrastination, you become efficient at delay. If you practice discipline, you become powerful. Life doesn't judge the habit. It only delivers the result. Most people underestimate small habits. They say, it's just one day. It's just a small mistake. It doesn't really matter. But here's the truth. Failure is rarely the result of one big mistake. It's the accumulation of small errors in judgment repeated every day. Small errors compound quietly. So do small disciplines. The direction matters more than the speed. Good habits are uncomfortable at first. Here's something important to understand. Bad habits feel good now and cost you later. Good habits feel difficult now and reward you later. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. That's why most people resist change. They don't want to trade short-term comfort for long-term success. But comfort is expensive, and discipline is cheap if you pay it daily. Habits shape your identity. What you do repeatedly shapes how you see yourself. Skip commitments you see yourself as unreliable. Keep promises you see yourself as disciplined. Avoid effort. You see yourself as limited. Your self-image controls your performance. Change the habit, and slowly, the identity changes. And when identity changes, behavior follows naturally. You don't break habits, you replace them. Here's where most people fail. They try to stop habits. But habits don't disappear. They must be replaced. Take care of your habits, and they'll take care of your future. You don't eliminate laziness. You replace it with structure. You don't eliminate negativity. You replace it with purpose. You don't eliminate distraction. You replace it with focus. Start small. Stay consistent. You don't need a complete life overhaul. You need a new daily practice. Read 10 minutes a day. Write goals once a week. Reflect every night. Improve one skill at a time. Let others lead small lives, but not you. Consistency beats intensity. A small habit done daily will outperform big efforts done occasionally. Your habits either break the cycle or strengthen it. Every habit votes toward growth or toward stagnation. There is no neutral. You are either moving toward discipline or toward regret. And the scary part? You're always becoming something, whether you choose it or not. Change is not something you do once. It's something you practice daily. If you want to break the cycle, you must change the habit. Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Because the habits you repeat today will decide where you stand 5 years from now. Next, we'll talk about the force strong enough to change habits permanently. Discipline, the ultimate cycle breaker. If habits are the engine of repetition, then discipline is the hand on the steering wheel. Without discipline, life pulls you back to familiar patterns. With discipline, you choose a new direction. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. No bridge, no crossing. Why discipline is rare? Discipline is simple, but it is not easy. That's why most people avoid it. They say, I don't feel like it. I'll start when I'm motivated. I'm waiting for the right time. But discipline doesn't wait for feelings. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Feelings change. Discipline remains. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is a choice, made daily, sometimes hourly, to get up when it's hard, to work when no one is watching, to continue when progress is slow. We must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Regret lasts longer. Why discipline breaks cycles. Cycles survive on inconsistency. Discipline destroys inconsistency. It replaces excuses with action, comfort with commitment, delay with decisiveness. Once discipline enters your life, the cycle loses its grip because discipline creates structure, and structure creates freedom. Here's something people don't like to hear. Your future is built in private moments, when no one is watching, when there is no applause, when quitting would be easy. Character is what you do when no one is watching. Public success always follows private discipline, never the other way around. Discipline does not demand perfection. It demands consistency. You don't discipline your whole life at once. You discipline one habit, 1 hour, one decision. Small disciplines practiced daily lead to great achievements. Big change begins with small control. Every disciplined action sends a message. It says, I can be trusted. I keep my promises. I am in control. The greatest value of discipline is what it makes of you. Results are important, but who you become is priceless. Make no mistake. When you choose discipline, the old cycle will resist. Old habits will tempt you. Old comforts will call you back. Old excuses will sound reasonable. Don't let your past hold you hostage. Discipline is not about never struggling. It's about refusing to surrender. Once discipline becomes routine, something powerful happens. Momentum. You no longer rely on willpower. You rely on structure. And structure carries you forward, even on hard days. What is easy to do is also easy not to do. The disciplined do what others won't, so they can live how others can't. You don't need more time. You need more discipline. If you want to break the cycle, discipline must become your identity. Not once, not sometimes, daily. Because discipline is not punishment. It is freedom in disguise. Breaking the cycle is important, but breaking alone is not enough. If you remove the old cycle, without building a new one, life will quietly rebuild the old habits. Nature hates a vacuum. So does human behavior. You don't change your life by destroying the past. You change it by designing the future. To move forward, you must create a new cycle. One built on intention, discipline, and purpose. Every life runs on a cycle. Let's be clear about something. You will always live in a cycle. The question is not whether you have one. The question is which one you choose. Either you run the day or the day runs you. A strong future requires a strong structure. Random actions create random results. Deliberate actions create predictable success. A new cycle starts with a new philosophy. Before behavior changes, thinking must change. Your philosophy determines whether you go for the disciplines or continue the errors. A new cycle begins when you adopt a new philosophy. Responsibility instead of blame. Discipline instead of comfort. Growth instead of stagnation. Once philosophy shifts, behavior naturally follows. You don't force change. You allow it. Design your days on purpose. Successful people don't drift. They design. They decide how mornings begin. They decide how time is spent. They decide what gets priority. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. A new cycle is built by repeating, learning, planning, executing, reflecting. Every day becomes a brick. Over time, those bricks build a future. Replace old habits with new rituals. You don't fight old habits. You outgrow them. Take care of your habits, and they'll take care of your future. Instead of removing laziness, add structure. Instead of avoiding distraction, create focus. Instead of waiting for motivation, schedule discipline. Rituals remove decision fatigue. They make success automatic. Here's the mistake many people make. They try to change everything at once. That creates overwhelm. Overwhelm creates quitting. Don't set your goals too low. If you don't need much, you won't become much. But also remember, small, consistent actions are more powerful than dramatic beginnings. One new habit, practiced daily, can change the direction of your life. Environment is stronger than willpower. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your environment rewards excuses, your new cycle will struggle. If your environment encourages growth, discipline becomes easier. Change what you listen to. Change what you tolerate. Change who influences you. Your future deserves protection. Expect resistance. It's a sign of progress. Creating a new cycle is uncomfortable. Old habits will resist. Old identities will protest. If you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Resistance is not a signal to stop. It's proof that you're changing. Stay consistent long enough, and the new cycle becomes familiar. Familiar becomes comfortable. Comfortable becomes identity. Track, adjust, improve. A powerful cycle requires awareness. Measure progress. Reflect regularly. Adjust when necessary. The disciplined person measures, evaluates, and refines. Perfection is not required. Progress is. A small adjustment today prevents a big failure tomorrow. The new cycle creates a new you. Over time, something remarkable happens. You no longer struggle to do the right thing. You become the kind of person who does it naturally. The major reason for setting goals is not what they get you, but what they make of you. You don't just have better days. You have a better identity. An identity determines destiny. You don't break a cycle by fighting it. You break it by replacing it. Create a cycle of learning. Create a cycle of discipline. Create a cycle of growth. Repeat it daily. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't just change your habits, you changed your future. Next, we'll bring everything together with becoming the person who never goes back. The final step in breaking the cycle for good. Breaking the cycle is one thing. Creating a new cycle is another. But the final step, the one that determines everything, is becoming the person who never goes back. Because many people change temporarily. Few change permanently. Success is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. And lifestyles are built on identity. Why most people return to the old life? Let's be honest. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they return to who they used to be. Old habits call back. Old comforts feel familiar. Old identities feel safe. If you don't change who you are, you'll always return to what you know. Temporary discipline produces temporary results. Only a changed identity creates lasting success. Identity is the final barrier. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. If you see yourself as undisciplined, unlucky, inconsistent, you will eventually act in alignment with that image. Your self-image controls your performance. To never go back, you must stop seeing discipline as something you do and start seeing it as who you are. Identity is protected by standards. Standards are the rules you refuse to break, what you tolerate, what you allow, what you walk away from. The quality of your life is determined by the standards you set for yourself. When your standards rise, your old life no longer fits. You don't fight temptation. You outgrow it. The power of commitment. Here's a simple truth. Half commitment invites relapse. Full commitment eliminates debate. When you know what you want and want it bad enough, you'll find a way. The person who never goes back has already decided. No negotiations, no excuses, no retreat. Pain becomes a reminder, not a reason. The memory of struggle becomes fuel. You don't forget where you came from. You just refuse to live there again. Let yesterday's disappointments remind you why you must move forward. Pain becomes wisdom. Failure becomes instruction. And the past loses its power. The person who never goes back guards their environment. They choose their influences carefully. They limit exposure to negativity. They stay connected to growth. You cannot live a positive life with a negative mind. Protection is not arrogance. It is responsibility. At some point, discipline stops feeling forced. It becomes familiar. You no longer rely on motivation. You rely on standards. What used to be hard becomes normal when done consistently. This is the turning point. The old cycle no longer pulls you back. It feels foreign. The person who never goes back takes full responsibility. No blame, no excuses. The day you accept total responsibility for yourself is the day you break free. Freedom and responsibility always travel together. Let me say this clearly. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming your best self. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Skills replace excuses. Standards replace shortcuts. Identity replaces struggle. If you want your life to change who you are permanently. Break the cycle. Build a new one. Raise your standards. Protect your identity. And once you become the person who never goes back, you won't need motivation. You won't fear failure. You won't return to the past because you've outgrown it. At some point, you must decide that your past will no longer control your future. You can't change yesterday, but you can change today. And today changes everything. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Breaking the cycle is not about one big moment. It's about small decisions made daily. Decisions to grow, to discipline yourself, to raise your standards, and to never go back. Remember this. Life will test you. Old habits will call you. Comfort will try to pull you back. But once you've seen the truth, you can't unsee it. You must either modify your dreams or magnify your skills. So go forward with clarity. Go forward with discipline. Go forward with responsibility and become the kind of person who doesn't need motivation because discipline has become your identity. Break the cycle, build a better future, and live a life you never need to escape from. Don't wish for it, work for it, and become it.